Welcome to Bite Size Podcast. Today we are talking about why AI revolution is underhyped.
Yeah, it sounds a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? Given, all the noise around AI right now.
Right. Everywhere you look, it's AI this, AI that. But the idea is what we're seeing might just be the start. Maybe we're actually underestimating the real scale of it.
Precisely. Think back maybe 5 or 6 years to 2016, AlphaGo.
Oh, yeah, the Go match. That felt huge at the time.
It was huge, but maybe not just because it won. It was how it won. This game, Go, humans have played it for, 2,500 years?
Millennia, yeah. Billions of games played,
The
presumably.
AlphaGo makes this move 37, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
A move no human grandmaster, nobody had ever thought of. It just invented it.
Invented it. Not just calculated the best known move, but something totally new.
Exactly. Its goal was simple, really just maintain over a 50% chance of winning. But out pops this completely novel strategy.
Wow. So a computer creating genuinely new ideas in a domain humans thought they'd mastered.
That was the moment, I think, for some people where it clicked. This isn't just about processing power. It's about something else, something potentially revolutionary.
Okay, so fast forward to now. We've got ChatGPT. Everyone's had that visceral whoa moment with language models about, 2 years ago?
Yep, that definitely got mainstream attention. People saw what language models could do, and it felt like a step change.
But you're saying even that might be underplaying the real revolution.
I think so, yeah. Because the progress hasn't stopped at language. The reinforcement learning stuff, the kind AlphaGo used, has gotten incredibly sophisticated. We're talking about planning now.
Planning, like strategic thinking.
Deep strategic thinking. Imagine an AI that doesn't just respond, but looks ahead, weighs options, goes forward and back, simulating scenarios.
Like running millions of mental rehearsals.
Kind of, yeah. There was this anecdote, maybe apocryphal, maybe not, about using an AI to research buying a rocket company, just fed it the goal. And supposedly, in like 15 minutes, it spits out these incredibly detailed papers, deep analysis, stuff that would take human teams months. Think about the computation for that.
That's staggering. So it's gone from language to language, then language to sequence, like in biology.
Right, understanding protein folding, things like that.
And now it's language to planning, to strategy.
Exactly. And the trajectory looks like AI agents, the systems that can manage whole processes, coordinating tasks, making decisions, communicating in English likely.
Okay, but this sounds incredibly demanding, computationally speaking.
Oh, it's off the charts. Think hungry hippos, but for data and compute power, just gobbling it up.
And we're already hearing about data center shortages, chip shortages.
Right, but the real wall we might hit isn't silicon, it's energy, power.
How bad is it?
Well, one estimate for the U.S. alone is needing an extra 90 gigawatts.
90 gigawatts? What does that even mean?
That's like 90 new nuclear power plants just for the U.S. And you see this scramble globally, Canada, the Middle East, India. Everyone's trying to build data centers and find the power. We're talking gigawatts per center, enough to power a whole city.
Can't we just make the algorithms more efficient? Smarter software?
Well, yes and no. There's this old saying, Grove giveth, Gates taketh away. Hardware gets better, faster chips.
And the software just gets bigger and more demanding to use it all up.
Pretty much. And this jump from deep learning, which is already intense, to reinforcement learning for planning, and then this idea of test time compute where it's learning while planning.
Okay, wait. Learning while planning?
Yeah, refining its strategy on the fly. That could need maybe 100 times, maybe even 1,000 times more compute than what we're using now for models like ChatGPT. The energy demand is just a different beast.
So we need more power, and we also need more data. Aren't we running out of stuff on the internet for AI to learn from?
That's another huge challenge. We're moving from training AI on all the text and images humans have created to needing AI to generate its own data to learn further, or even harder.
Go on?
How does an AI invent something truly revolutionary, like Einstein-level stuff? Relativity didn't just come from analyzing existing physics data.
Right, that involved connecting things from different areas, seeing patterns nobody else saw.
Exactly. Seeing patterns across fields, applying tools from one area to a totally different one. That's currently beyond what AI can do systematically. There's this technical term, non-stationarity of objectives, basically. The goal itself changes as you explore.
But if AI could do that, if it could make those kinds of leaps,
then you need even more data centers, more power, but you might also unlock entirely new fields of science, whole new ways of thinking.
Okay, but this path towards more capable, more autonomous AI, it sets off alarm bells for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Agents acting on their own.
Understandably so. It's the control problem.
Hmm.
If you have systems that are incredibly complex, maybe even improving themselves, how do you make sure they stay aligned with what we want? How do you keep the plug accessible, metaphorically speaking?
Are there actual lines the industry is drawing, things they agree not to build yet?
There are discussions, yeah. Things like recursive self-improvement AI rapidly making itself smarter in ways we can't predict, or giving AI direct control over critical systems like weapons, or the ability to just copy itself across the internet autonomously.
But can you really stop it? If one company or country holds back, won't another just race ahead?
That's the dilemma. It's a global competition. So the focus often shifts from stop to steer,
Yeah.
building guardrails, safety protocols, but it's hard.
And then there's the dual use problem. The same tech for good stuff could be used for less good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Civilian applications, military applications, it's inherent in powerful technology.
How are countries dealing with that, especially with the U.S.-China dynamic?
Well, the U.S. military, for instance, talks about human in the loop or meaningful human control. That's official doctrine, 3000.09. But yeah, the U.S.-China competition is a massive driver. You see the trade tensions, the tariffs.
145% tariffs on some things now, isn't it?
Something like that. And yet the supply chains are still deeply interconnected. Think chip packaging, components. A lot still relies on China. And their approaches differ too. The U.S. has generally kept its most powerful models closed, proprietary.
While China has pushed more open source.
Yeah, models like DeepSeek have shown incredible efficiency gains, and they released the weights, basically, the model itself openly, which, ironically, has benefited researchers and companies in the U.S. too.
But open source also means anyone can get it.
That's the worry. If these models become powerful enough to pose real risks, cyber attacks, maybe designing bioweapons, even influencing things at the nuclear level, having them openly available is, well, it's a serious concern.
It almost sounds like a new kind of arms race. People talk about the nuclear deterrence analogy.
They do. The fear is that if one country gets way ahead, achieves some kind of superintelligence first, the advantage could be overwhelming. Economic dominance, innovation monopoly, surveillance capabilities.
So other countries might feel pressured to do something drastic, maybe even preemptively, like with nuclear weapons.
It's a theoretical risk, but one people are starting to take seriously. The problem is our international relations, our foreign policy frameworks, they just weren't built for this kind of scenario. We might only have maybe 5 years or so to figure out how to even talk about this stuff globally.
So this open source debate is really thorny. Innovation versus safety.
It's a wicked hard problem, as they say. How do you get the benefits of open innovation without handing incredibly dangerous tools to, the Osama bin Ladens of the world?
Where does the consensus sit right now? Are open source models dangerous today?
The general feeling seems to be not yet. Not at a national security or global catastrophe level. But could they get there? Potentially, yes. And the decisions made in the U.S. and China are going to be absolutely pivotal, simply because they have the capital to build these massive systems.
Europe and others have ambitions, but maybe not the same scale of investment.
Exactly. So it really comes down to choices made in Washington and Beijing. And the risk isn't just deliberate misuse, it's accidental escalation. Dr. Kissinger worried about AI leading to a World War I type scenario, complex systems interacting in unpredictable ways, leading to catastrophe unintentionally.
Wow. And trying to prevent all this. Could the solutions themselves create problems? You mentioned guardrails, but what about surveillance?
That's the weird tension, isn't it? To stop bad actors using AI, maybe you need ways to verify who is using it, proof of personhood, things like that.
So it sounds a bit like building a global ID system, a surveillance state.
Potentially, yeah. You could inadvertently build the infrastructure for dystopia while trying to prevent it. How do you moderate AI conversations at scale without infringing on privacy? How do you ensure these powerful systems uphold values like individual freedom when they're optimized for efficiency?
And these aren't just technical problems.
No, a lot of them are business decisions, product decisions, though there are technical ideas, like using cryptography. Zero-knowledge proofs, maybe to prove you're human without revealing who you are. But it's complex.
Okay, let's pivot. Despite all these challenges, what are the dreams, the really optimistic possibilities that might also be underhyped?
Right, let's talk about the upside because it's potentially staggering. We could maybe eradicate major diseases, identify all human druggable targets within, say, 2 years. That's a stated goal for some.
Seriously, all of them.
That's the ambition. Imagine startups drastically cutting the cost of clinical trials, bringing life-saving drugs to market faster and cheaper.
beyond medicine.
Fundamental science breakthroughs. Understanding dark energy, dark matter. Designing revolutionary new materials for transportation, for energy, for scientific instruments. It's vast.
What about just daily life, society?
Personalized education. Imagine an AI tutor for every child from kindergarten in any language. The tech is basically there. It's more about the economics and will to deploy it.
And in healthcare.
AI doctor assistants providing perfect recall, perfect knowledge, even in remote areas with few human doctors. Tackling things like loneliness, which has gotten worse in the digital age. These feel like fixable problems, things we don't need another Einstein to solve. Just the focus.
So the potential scope is?
Look, this whole thing, AI, AGI, maybe superintelligence, it could be the most important event in 500, maybe 1,000 years of human history. And it's happening, like, now, in our lifetimes. The main message is probably, don't screw it up.
Okay, so if we don't screw it up and we get this era of radical abundance AI might promise, what do people do all day? Just leisure?
Probably not. Human nature doesn't change that fast. We'll likely find new things to argue about, more sophisticated lawsuits, politicians misleading us in new ways.
So still human.
Still human. Plus, we have this huge demographic challenge, right? Falling birth rates, aging populations. We actually need massive productivity gains just to maintain living standards and support everyone.
And AI could provide that productivity boost.
Potentially on a scale we've never seen. Economists model productivity growth in like single-digit percentages per year. What if AI agents and AI-driven discovery push that to, say, 30% per year? We don't have models for that. It's unbelievable change.
The scale is just hard to grasp.
It really is. The hope is just that it bends in a positive direction.
So final thought then. For someone listening, an artist, a teacher, a doctor, a business person, whoever trying to navigate this transition, what's the advice?
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Think of it like a 100-mile bike race. You can't just stop pedaling. You need that constant effort, that spin rate, just to keep up.
Because the pace is so fast.
Incredibly fast. Exponential. Stuff from 2 or 3 years ago in AI can feel ancient history already. So you have to engage daily. Read, experiment, adopt the tools quickly.
For everyone, not just tech people.
For everyone. Artists using image generation, teachers using AI tutors, physicians using diagnostic aids, business people automating processes. You have to ride the wave, learn how it impacts your work, your industry.
Because things can change almost overnight.
Absolutely. Look at something like the Anthropic protocol allowing direct database connections. Suddenly, a whole industry built around connecting AI to data might be disrupted. You have to pay attention and adapt continuously. See you soon.